very much. Right, there are no deputations by appointment, no presentation of petitions. So now we move on to paper 7, the proposed consultation on Freedom Camping Bylaw changes. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We can take the report as read, but if you could give us the quick update on the government's new plans and why we're still going ahead with this, that would be really useful.
Sure. Do you want me to do a summary of the bylaw changes
Very
as well?
quick.
Or? Very quick.
Yeah.
So I guess the main point with the bylaw is that we need to review it and we need to complete the review, otherwise the bylaw will lapse. So we've been working on this for some time, and you had a report about this in October last year, which is the first step in the review. This is the second step. So we've got some changes that we're recommending, which generally we think the bylaw is working quite well, but the review gives us an opportunity to update and improve things where we can. In the meantime, since preparing this work, the government has proposed changes to freedom camping nationally. These proposals will likely lead to changes to the Freedom Camping Act, which this bylaw is made under. So the key point here is that the national changes won't be finalised for some time, perhaps late next year by the time the legislative changes go through. So we need to complete the review of our bylaw, including this consultation phase at the moment, or our bylaw will lapse, which means it automatically revokes. The bylaw changes that we're proposing here are likely to be fully completed before December this year, so they'll be on a much faster track. Once the national changes are finalised, there'll be an implementation process. There might be regulations that sit under it, for example, so that will push the dates out even further. And there's strong support for this bylaw, so we don't want to risk not having a bylaw while we're in a place of legislative uncertainty. So we need to be clear about that in our consultation information, including the statement of proposal. So there's a small amendment to that referenced in the additional recommendations which were in the supplementary memo which was circulated. The timeframes for the council to make a submission on the national consultation are also quite tight, so there's a recommendation to delegate the finalisation of that submission to the chair of the committee and members that want to be involved.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and I think can we see all of those recommendations up there? So the additional recommendations, and I think that's put Councillors Turner and Daniels on as well as me. So if people are okay with that, seem to be this morning. Okay, and number 10 there is changed to, it's sort of gone in with the original one. Is that right? Yeah, from the very top, because otherwise they were repeating themselves. No other changes from the ones in the memo though? No. Okay, any questions? Yeah. So any questions first, Yanni?
Thank you for the work that you've done on this. Under the page 28, paragraph 3, North Beach Car Park, you talk about the fact that the number of freedom campers in 37 has reduced from high levels, but you're still saying there's still a steady number of campers in the area, despite the lack of international travellers. I guess what I was trying to understand is what sort of what are we seeing in regards to people who actually need housing? Like, is this sort of people that are homeless or transient or living in cars versus, I guess, the perception of, young people coming from overseas or around New Zealand freedom camping?
So there's a mix of different issues there. One is that because we put a temporary closure on that car park sort of over the last year, that has meant that we've seen a reduction in people camping there, so that's been working quite well. The range of campers that are in that area is varied. There are absolutely some people who are genuinely homeless in that, and some frequent freedom campers. The homelessness is not treated in the same way as freedom camping, so we wouldn't infringe somebody who's homeless and living out of their vehicle. We would take a different approach to that, which is more sort of wraparound service and engaging with them and trying to see what we can do to support and encourage them to be in a more secure housing situation, so that the issues are quite separate in terms of how we would enforce the limitations in the bylaw.
So do we have a sense of the percentage of those that are freedom camping, for leisure, recreation, versus people that need somewhere to stay the night?
All that data is available from the monitoring and enforcement that's been done over the summer. I don't have it with me at the moment, but I can find out from the enforcement team.
Thanks. Cheers.
Any further questions? No, in that case, do I have a mover for the staff recommendations? This is, yep, Tim, thank you, and Phil for seconding. Do I have any debate? Tim.
Yeah, look, first of all, thank you very much for this, and it is a hell of a lot of work having to redo bylaws every 5 years. So, and this has been a particularly hot potato. There's no question about it. Just want to remind people that we are in a COVID situation, so the pressure is off a bit. So we're kind of taking a breath for a while. But there are two areas that are mentioned, which are Naval Point and North Beach, which have been problem areas without question. There are other areas around Christchurch which were added to when those were put in. So we're not out of the park yet, and there are going to be some issues in the future. But I do commend the staff for what they do, and also our regulatory staff who go there and try and make the assessment between homeless and freedom camping, because there is a very big difference to that. So thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Andrew.
Thank you. Yeah, I would agree that the current bylaw is working well, but equally I would agree that there is a continued need for a bylaw. I'm certainly pleased to see the changes to the national situation proposed by government. I've certainly commented in this chamber before about the need for some changes to the Act and the national situation and some consistency. And the proposals that government have put forward pick up some of the discussions and recommendations of the local and central government working party, of which I've been a part since its inception. So I'm pleased to see some of that work finally being picked up. As stated in the memo, which is in the agenda, the proposed changes from government don't affect our need to review the bylaw, and I'm pleased that we are in a position where we can continue to do that anyway. I welcome the review. I welcome the proposal and the changes that are proposed within it, and thank staff for what I know has been a significant amount of work to get this to the point where we can consider it today. Reflecting some of Tim's comments, I am aware of some concerns and some issues in different parts of the city. Some of them certainly are picked up in the proposed changes in the document that's in front of us, the draft documents in front of us. I regularly get comment from people in the community about freedom camping issues or things that people are not happy about or would suggest improvements to. And of course, in various different parts of the city, they manifest themselves differently. Consulting on this draft bylaw is the opportunity for people to have their say on that and to make those comments in a more formal sense. And I know there are some people out there who have got comments who are waiting for this opportunity, who certainly will be providing that feedback at that time. So I would encourage those people and others to take that opportunity to provide their views on this proposal. And certainly I welcome that consultation feedback. So fully supportive of this today.
Thank you. Any further debate? No, in that case I'll put this. All those in favour please say aye. Aye. Those against, declare that carried. Thank you very much.